This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com. This show is brought to you by Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, sliceonbroadway.com. And listeners like you, support this show at patreon.com/awesomecast.
Sidekick Media Services. We are your sidekick in business for social media, video production, and more. Find out more at sidekickmediaservices.com.
It's time to get geeky, get awesome. It is the AwesomeCast episode 516. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron here on the Twitter, on the social medias, on your Facebook, on your Periscope, on your YouTubes, wherever you may be watching or listening on podcasts later on. And I understand there's something of an event, but it's less of an event. But it was very aptly, and we'll get to that later in the show. But first, we got to go down the line. First of all, with us, he is a gadget guru from Dormont, Pennsylvania. He's coming from Studio C, John Chichilla. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing? Happy Tuesday.
Excellent.
It's weird for me. It's like a Monday.
Did
for
I
me,
send?
'cause I had yesterday off.
Did I send you that strange thing I found last week in wrestling that involved Dormont, PA? There was
no. Was it in the Slack?
I can't remember where. I thought I sent it to you. Maybe I sent it to Duck. I thought I sent it to you. There was a pro wrestler on AEW Dark on YouTube, which is a big company, and they were announced as from Dormont, Pennsylvania. And I looked her up, and the Twitter says is claiming Pittsburgh. So I'm like, okay.
Okay.
That's okay. How do I not know of this wrestler that lived a mile away from me apparently? So
and Dormont's only 1 square mile, I think, in size.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that doesn't narrow it down much. I mean, I but anyways, there are other pro wrestlers in Dormont, by the way, and they're cool too. But anyways, also with us, she is joining us. She is weekly virtually here, but we'll talk about where else she ended up virtually this week as well. The Dudders is with us. Katie, how you doing?
Hi, happy Prime, happy Deal Day, happy Go Fast Day.
Go Fast Day? What's Go Fast Day? Oh, high speed. That's right. Happy. Did you know 5G is a thing day? Apparently, and it's gonna make everything happen. And I think it's gonna cure COVID. Do not check me on that, please.
Twitter's gonna put one of those things on your Twitter.
It is. We get that enough because we tag COVID stuff as it is. But no, absolutely. We're gonna. I'm excited to talk about your awesome thing of the week as well, Katie. As well. There was something else I want to touch on, but never mind. This is the AwesomeCast. Check us out at awesomecast.com. You can check out everything over there. Please subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcasty things. Hit us at email at awesomecast@sorgatronmedia.com. AwesomeCast on the Twitter, the AwesomeCast Facebook page and group, as well as the AwesomeCast YouTube. We are streaming live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on all of those platforms that carry video, as well as the Sorgatron Media Twitch page. So however you like to get at the action, and we're trying to keep an eye on all the chat rooms. Of course, mostly we have people hanging out over on the Facebook page, including Dave Potter hanging out there as well. He usually keeps us up to date on all the picture-y things happening in the iPhone world. And you can also check out our partners, give some shout-outs to our friends at the405media.com. They're still streaming the AwesomeCast as part of their site. And our friends at postindustrial.com. They're sharing the AwesomeCast and plenty of other great Pittsburgh podcasts. So please go check that out and explore the Pittsburgh podcast world. I'll give a shout out to our Patreon supporters at patreon.com/awesomecast, our friends at the coffee club level, Matt Weller, John DeGore, and John Carmen, as well as a fan of the show level, our friends Michael Fedor, pgsmuseums.org, Professor Buzzkill, the great podcast at ProfessorBuzzkill.com, and Dave Potter, all supporting the show. You guys can support the show too, and from time to time we do have a little bit of extra recordings we throw on there for you Patreon supporters over at patreon.com/awesomecast. So let's get into our awesome things of the week. Kate, let's start with yours since I was already kind of teasing it a little bit.
So one of the UPMC and the Steelers, they team up. Well, actually, the whole NFL is doing it, and it's a crucial catch. And it talks about making sure that you're getting talking about getting testing and being aware of your body to catch cancer early on, and to make sure we get the earlier catch it, the more chances we have to stop it and get rid of it. But the Steelers did a thing with a UPMC where they selected a handful of us who have experienced cancer, especially this year. And they put us digitally on the sidelines. I was virtually on the sidelines for a pregame of the Steeler game, which was really, really cool. In normal world, would have been at the game on the field, twirling the towel in front of everyone, but in the age of COVID.
That's awesome. That's great. If you're on video, there's your view. So
it was a Zoom call. It was a Zoom call. It was like a business Zoom call, and they have a setup. It's a real nice setup on the sidelines, and there's a camera, and there's a bunch of little squares, so the coaches, players, everybody could stop by if they wanted to stop by and say hello. And they had us all on mute, obviously. And before the pregame started, they had us record a video of us, twirling our towels and yelling defense. And they were going to work that into what you saw on the big screen on the scoreboard during the game, which I didn't get a chance to see. And I don't know if I knew anybody who was there to let us know if that happened.
I know Matt Light was there because he jumped in the river after they won.
Yeah, that was so funny.
Which apparently he says is going to be a thing now. So
I'm okay with that. That's pretty funny.
It'll be fun until it'll turn into a polar bear plunge here in a couple of weeks. But and I'm familiar with that territory. So it's probably a little less dangerous on that side of the river than where we used to do it on the Mon Wharf. So
yeah.
That's awesome. And there was a video. I'm trying to. I think is it on your Twitter? There was a video.
It was. Yeah, it was on Twitter.
Okay.
Because I put it on my story on Instagram. It was really cool. Like during the pregame, we're on the sidelines, and a few folks stopped by, including Coach Tomlin, James Conner, Art Rooney Sr., one of the owners of the Steelers, was stopped by and said hello, said some nice things about us, which was super cool.
There you go.
And it was really cool because the NFL and Fox happened to catch when Tomlin came over to the camera, and you could see me 2 squares down from the camera waving like.
There is. I mean, she's right there, waving.
Like a little kid. I was just like, hi.
I'm pretty sure he's pointing at you.
Yeah. We were wearing matching shirts. We both had the Still City T-shirts that says Pittsburgh Stronger Than Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So we matched. We were twinsies. That's why.
That is so fun. I'm glad you got to do that. Myself, I struck out yet again on the WWE Thunderdome in related virtual attendance news. So I was supposed to check out SmackDown at 9:45 with 15 minutes left in the show. Didn't let me in. Okay. So that's awesome. I love that they're doing this kind of thing, and yeah, you're seeing it more and more. I partially related. We actually did last Wednesday, I think it was. I did a meetup call stream with Santonio Holmes with his foundation. They usually have a Santonio Holmes Foundation bowling night with a bunch of sponsors and everything. So they had a pep rally. So they had somebody from Mancini's and UPMC and UPS and Rorick and everything get on there and just trash talk each other on Facebook Live for 20-25 minutes. And I think they're taking pins to each of the locations like Rorick Auto and Mancini's and stuff, and they're going to do their bowling with Santonio at each location since they can't do the event right now. So I'm loving seeing this creativity that's happening with a lot of these events, and of course we've had a lot of involvement with a few of these over the last several months, especially. So that's really cool. It's really cool, Katie. So
yeah, strikes against sickle cell. That's his.
Yes, that's his. Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Been lucky to be part of that event a couple times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was a zombie. I bowled as a zombie.
Of course you were.
I was Gutters.
Gutters.
That's a good one.
Listen. If there's anything that's been around for a while and is a charity in Pittsburgh, Katie was probably there as or wrangling zombies over the years. Like that is it's a Pittsburgh fact. That's awesome. So Chilla, you got
Wait,
something?
I
Oh,
had
go
one
ahead.
quick
Go ahead.
question
Sure.
because I think I missed it. What did you guys use for like the video conference thing?
Zoom. It was on
Oh,
Zoom.
Zoom. Okay.
Yeah, it was Zoom. So it was funny to see it in a professional sense.
Mm-hmm.
It was very professional, but it was fun because you could also see everybody else's setup, like how.
Oh,
And
that's cool.
some
Mhm.
people had big parties, and some people made signs. It was really neat.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Chilla, tell me about VR.
So I went down a rabbit hole over the weekend.
Uh-oh.
Um,
Uh-oh.
I was I was looking for something to get me a little more active on the
Mhm.
Oculus Quest.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to give Beat Saber a try. Actually, let me reframe that. I was looking for something to get me a little more active in VR in general, and I wanted to play Beat Saber, but I wanted to be able to load custom songs
Mm-hmm.
into Beat Saber because I've seen a lot of, I was actually watching YouTube videos on how different people film themselves and put themselves in Beat Saber, which I'm completely fascinated with. And then I'm like, well, you can't get all these songs. So I looked on the PlayStation and there's no way to do it. You
Mm-hmm.
can't side load additional song levels, but you can do it on the Oculus Quest. For Beat Saber, you do need a device that can handle 2 controllers, so it cannot be used on the Oculus Go, nor can it be used on the Galaxy VR,
Oh.
because you're limited to the one single controller. But the Oculus Quest does have the capability of doing it, along with, I think, the Vive. But then how to get those on there became my mission for the weekend. And thankfully, it was a long weekend because I needed the extra couple hours to work it all out. And along the way, I found a website slash application called SideQuestVR.com. And it is pretty much a additional app store of VR based games. I think I saw somewhere in there some items for a VR version of Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a
I see
bunch of different
Doom.
cool games, but go ahead.
Doom I see here on the front page.
Yep. And but what you pretty much have to do is put your Quest in developer mode. You can use a side loading application that's meant for Beat Saber called BFBM. And you can download that off their GitHub. And then you download the SideQuest application and it will let you load Android APKs up onto the Quest VR. So I spent my Sunday evening playing for actually probably a little over an hour of Beat Saber, but playing numerous songs from the 80s, 90s, and even today.
Nice.
Found it completely fun, but now that I know about this whole SideQuest VR, my hunt for more fun content will continue. And it was interesting too because what I thought was nice on the SideQuest VR site is they'll show which applications are free, which applications are paid, but also which applications are in pre-release. So obviously people continue to work on their VR applications. Hybo looks like a cool one. It's still in pre-release and an alpha, but it looked to me, it's kind of like a bow and arrow Fortnite-esque battle royale. You do have swords, but it's meant to be played kind of with the bow, which could be fun with the control sticks. But yeah, I think I'm gonna be checking out more and more of these type of games, and having the Quest and being able to kind of have the video camera where you can if you need to be able to see without taking off the headset or using the phone, like on the Galaxy VR, you kind of turn the phone into a camera. It was really nice being able to see the environment, but also draw on things because you can kind of draw your boundary and perimeter so you can get notified if you're probably going to run into into things. So total enjoyable experience. Highly recommend checking out SideQuest VR. Not just limited to the Quest device. They do have Go apps for the Go. They do have WebXR and also PC-based VR games.
Nice. That's cool. It looks like the oh, hit the wrong button there. It looks like the Game Jolt of VR. That has a lot of developer stuff. Like that's my first impression of it, of course, being a sideload thing as well. Game Jolt was the one where I found those fan-made He-Man and the Masters of the Universe game and Ninja Turtles and things like that. But it's a lot of just kind of homebrew kind of stuff and kind of an independent game store of sorts. So that's cool. So sidequestvr.com if you want to check that out. My awesome thing of the week, I talked myself into it because I just went for it. I got the new ChromeCast, guys, but or I'm sorry, the ChromeCast with Google TV, which AKA an Android TV, AKA an Android dongle, AKA the one that comes with the remote. And of course we talked about last week, you know, the idea that you could put Game Pass on your new ChromeCast, and this is a $50 device, or you can pay something like $70 and you include like 6 months of Netflix or something like that. And it's so that got my attention. And then I saw another one that says you can put Stadia on it too, and everything. So I'm like, okay, or unofficially, I think that's what we were talking about last week. But unofficially, you can put Stadia on it. Then I also saw an article that Game Pass was able to be side-loaded onto the device. So I got it Friday. I actually ended up going to visit my mom on Friday, so I brought it with me. And knowing that I would typically do some of the game streaming with NVIDIA GeForce on the Android phone and everything, and it has no problem there. So I after my mom goes to bed because she goes to bed early. I unplugged one of her I don't know 20 Roku devices that we've talked about before, and plugged this guy in and started playing with it. Side-loaded both Game Pass and Stadia on it. And here's a surprise, guys. You know what's automatically loads on this if you have it on Android? NVIDIA GeForce Now.
You have all the virtual systems.
Without side loading. So first of all, Game Pass fell apart. And again, this is a space where I know the Wi-Fi is good. Things work very well here. Game Pass, Microsoft Game Pass, definitely. It seemed like the most not ready for the device out of the three of them. Obviously, hopefully it comes soon. You know, it's promising. I load up Batman Arkham Knight, and it just like you start playing it. In a few moments, it would just fall apart. Like it just would die on you. GeForce Now worked very well. I loaded up some Assassin's Creed Syndicate has been my test on there since I'm very familiar with it from playing the Xbox version. That worked very well. I hope I don't run into something where I need to log into Steam or Epic Games because that's going to be a pain in the ass on this device. To do the password and everything. But I did load up into Stadia, which I picked up since it's available on my iPhone now. And by the way, Stadia across the board on multiple devices has been the most reliable game streaming experience out of all of them. I can say that confidently at this point. I ended up playing about 3 hours of Destiny 2 on this device. That's one of those you look up and you realize it's 2 in the morning and you should probably go to bed kind of situations. Also, I just really kind of got started with Destiny 2. So I'm kind of diving into it a little bit, and it got me, man. Yeah, I played that. You sync your Xbox controller to it, and you load that up, and it works great. Now, so that's fantastic. It syncs in with everything else. Pretty easy to load in my apps. Had to log into everything. The biggest thing that's a pain for me is if I watch something on there, like I'll go watch something on this, and it's not syncing to my Apple TV that I watched the latest episode of, you know, Star Wars Resistance or something because I watched it on this device. So I'm kind of breaking things when I do it this way. But same thing when I use the other Chromecast as well. It has a YouTube and a Netflix button I keep hitting by accident, of course. And really easy to sync your input and power button. And there's even a volume on it that's synced very easy to my LG television in my bedroom. So I don't feel like I'm going to lose this as easily as I do the Apple TV controller. I mean, it's very plastically. It's not, it doesn't feel as nice as the Apple TV. But for $50, like this is a nice device for what you're getting, and that you can throw the games on it. Now, the issue I'm having, and this may be a question I have for you outside of this that's more technical, Chilla. When I put it in my bedroom, I'm further away from my Wi-Fi, and I actually ended up moving my Wi-Fi from the basement up a floor, so it's in my living room, so it's a little closer to the device. The issue I'm having is in order to do this game streaming effectively, you should really be on a 5 gigahertz connection with your modem versus the 2.4 that most things are on. My modem has that single SSID that decides for you which you're on. I don't know how to force the device onto 5 gigahertz. First time I plugged it in, went to 5 gigahertz, played fine on NVIDIA and Stadia up there. I think that's even before I moved my modem. And now I can't get it off 2.4 and everything stutters. So I'm exploring. It sounds like I can turn that off, but I couldn't really.
You could try to turn, depending on what other. Say you could turn off 2.4, but that may break other
then that breaks
devices.
as it is. I turned everything over to Wi-Fi 4 and Wi-Fi 5, and none of the other standards, and none of my plugs work. So there's that. So I imagine it's. I think there's something where I can turn off the smart selector thing. I tried it, didn't see the second SSID pop up. So I don't know if because 5 gigahertz is usually kind of a weaker thing. It's just not.
That's what it was going to be my question, because usually the signal doesn't penetrate walls as well. So is it seeing that you have a better signal from the 2.4 side and
that's my
shipping
guess.
you over there?
That's my guess. But even like I moved it closer, and I'm having even more problems with it. It seems. So that's my thing. So. If you're not weird and threw your modem in the basement when you decide to use this thing on their second floor, you probably won't have as much problems as I've been having. But if you're like pretty like, yeah, we put our modem in the living room because that's where everything is, and you plug this into your TV, you're probably going to be just fine with doing at least the game streaming side of things. And everything else has just been super solid with this thing.
Not that it's probably going to help you out, but the one thing that surprised me about the Amazon devices, I have two questions, was there's actually like Ethernet dongles you can get?
I'm told that there are ones you can get. This is USB-C.
Okay.
And for the output on this one. And I do believe there's like a pass-through USB-C Ethernet that you can get for it. Somebody was saying, but again, I'm on a different floor. I'm not going to be able to run Ethernet to it that easily. So, and if I put it in my living room, that's where the Xbox is. That defeats the purpose. The whole point is, but still, generally, other than this Wi-Fi situation, which I think is going to get better over time, like you can throw $50 devices on the TVs in your house, and they're becoming. I think I can say pretty confidently they're becoming full-fledged video game console devices when you do this. But between Stadia and GeForce at least. Like very, very good. And of course, GeForce is all the stuff you've bought. Most of the games, some stuff isn't supported, but I mean, I have something like 60 games between Steam and Epic on there. And they're strangely, it just popped up on GeForce that you can play on the cloud. The original Tomb Raider with all that horsepower of the cloud. You can, man, those are the triangulous triangles that I've ever seen. Jeez.
Those polygons all have sharp edges.
Yeah, they're the sharpest of edges on those polygons from the PlayStation 1 days. I tell you what. But man, but go ahead.
Is there anything in the like Google Home app or anything that allows you, if you have a keyboard or a text-based prompt on the device? Because you were talking about typing in passwords. Mm-hmm. Probably using the arrow keys and the select button.
Yep.
Not always the easiest or fun if you have lengthy passwords.
Nope.
Is there anything in the Google Home app that like knows that the device has text import? Like you're in a text box and you can use the keyboard on your phone?
I did not. I opened up the Google Home app, or you connect to the Chromecast devices. did not see any of that function. Whereas Apple's really nice, where if you go into a text field for a password, it'll buzz on your phone and it'll pop up and you can type it in. And I can use LastPass to send a password to my Apple TV for a login for something. Nothing like that I can tell exists. At least, hey, I'm on an Apple device, so maybe that makes the difference. Maybe it does happen when you have it linked with an Android device. I will say, for what I had to do to get Stadia on there, it was pretty easy. I had the Android phone that I've been using for VR and streaming games for betas and stuff. You get a send file to TV app of some sort. You send it there, get another file commander app on your TV, and it opens the files, and you're good to go. Well, no, you have to also go into developer mode, which is like going down to the version number, clicking on it 8 times, and you're in developer mode, and you can sideload. I wouldn't put too much more on this than something like a Stadia, a GeForce that you're getting from a reliable source. Not GeForce. GeForce came down automatically, Chilla, because I had it on my phone.
Because you had it on your phone. That's cool. That's nice to know too, that they're looking at what you already have.
Yeah.
And I've heard. I'm interested. I don't understand why, like, if you're using Netflix or something, why it's not tracking where you're at in a show or.
Oh no. It's the Apple TV. Watch next.
Okay.
That doesn't track because you watched it on a different device and not an Apple device. Because that tracks from my phone over that, but not.
I'm interested too, as you use it more. That I've heard their AI model for figuring out other things that you're going to like and kind of giving you, recommendations. I heard it is amazing.
Hey, so my entire front screen is superhero shows and movies. So I mean, I guess it's figured me out, right?
Yep.
So, and supposedly you can go and search and watch later and things like that. So, but no, it's a good device if you're looking for something. If you don't have questions about the distance of your TV from your Wi-Fi situation and that kind of thing, I think it's a very worthwhile device for $50 if you're invested or looking to experiment with Stadia, GeForce Now, potentially Game Pass in the near future. That I think this is a steal at $50 for real. And very comparable if you're comparing to Apple TV. Also, because I think you can even drop games on this too. I haven't played with that, and this is like a quad-core processor. This might be more powerful than my Apple TV, which I don't have the most recent 4K. Also, this is 4K. Not that I'm using all the 4Ks. I'm barely using 1K. So, but no, definitely that's ChromeCast with Google TV. Also, that moniker makes it really hard to find support for this particular device since there's been 3 other Chromecasts. So. But that is my review of that unit, the few days I've had to play with it extensively. So, well, something that we don't need to upgrade, our good friends at Slice on Broadway, sliceonbroadway.com. By the way, I just posted because one of the guys has been asking about it, and I just reposted when our good friend from the wrestling podcast, Wrestling Mayhem Show, the Beast Man, visited Slice on Broadway. We posted that back over on the Wrestling Mayhem Show accounts if you want to check that out. It was a lot of fun. Those guys are great down there supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza here in the Beachview neighborhood, right up the street from our studio in Carnegie in the East End. Thank you so much, guys, for supporting the show, and so much. Thank you so much for you guys for supporting the Slice on Broadway as well. Really do appreciate that. I know they're always busy every time I drop in there. On Tuesdays or whenever else we get. And actually, we got some more Slice on Broadway the other night when we were doing some commentary recording here in the studio. So always supporting us, always great. Check them out, sliceonbroadway.com, or one of their 3 locations in the greater Pittsburgh area. All right, Apple. Apple had another infomercial today. Announcement. And it was the phone and HomePod. There was a lot. I got really worried because one lady was standing on the roof of the complex, and I was concerned about her safety. It was a very I can't get used to these Apple announcement videos, Chilla.
I'm sad. I didn't get to watch today's yet. I had meetings that ran through the announcement. I got to keep up with some of like the live blogging.
Mm-hmm.
But I did not get but I heard they're already. I was surprised because I think at like 4:30 or something, they were already posted to YouTube.
Yeah.
It makes me almost wonder, like, were they pre-recorded?
Oh,
and then
absolutely.
Just aired?
They are very pre-recorded and aired. But
Like 100% pre-recorded.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The camera moves that they're doing in there, there's no way that these are pre-recorded. They're not even messing with them. Like, why would you at this point, right? What's the point in doing it just for the intro? And the way that I don't know. I think they built a small house inside the Apple facility when they were showing off the home stuff, and it was very interesting. We'll get to the home stuff. I mean, obviously, I think everybody's more excited. I know Podner's more interested.
Wait, are we still talking about the infomercial? Because did you catch like the minute-long thing at the end where we're like everybody was COVID safe? We kept everyone separated. Things were sanitized throughout the shoot.
I did not. I kind of fell off on that one. So I was watching the Twitch stream. So, which echoed my yelling at the computer as they kept incessantly talking about Verizon 5G, which does not apply to me, and 5G is kind of a BS thing right now. I'm with them on that. So, Katie, you actually, I think of the three of us, you're the one that can actually potentially, maybe, sort of take advantage of that, and you've been waiting to find out what your next phone is.
Yeah, and it was funny because I was watching the conversation between you and Alex Cars, and I was like, maybe I really don't need a new phone. Maybe I don't need a new phone. And then the LiDAR.
I was like, hold on a second. Your phone is broken. By the way, you do need a new phone. What's that?
I mean, the screen is cracked. I got to pay a few $100 and just get that fixed. But...
Yes, or just take the full step and
dive in.
So what excited you? You said the LiDAR excited you.
LiDAR and the ceramic screen shield.
What? What?
The ceramic screen shield.
Is that the peekaboo case that they kept putting it in?
I don't know. I thought I couldn't figure it out, but I was like, it's supposed to be protecting this thing, so this doesn't happen is what I'm assuming.
Okay.
I'm hoping, unless it's protecting this side, which probably would be the thing they would do.
Has also been known to crack in the past. I remember the iPhone 4s with the cracked backs.
Everyone had a friend or two that had that.
So what is the LiDAR doing? I guess is the first question.
Well, at least what caught my eye about the LiDAR was the fact that you got faster low light shots because it was focusing, essentially it's like a radar where it's bouncing, it sends out a beam of light, like a laser, pew, and bounces back, and it tells your phone how far away each object is in front of you in your field of vision, your phone's field of vision. And instead of it having to focus on an object based upon light, it'll base it on LiDAR, so it'll bounce back. So it's supposed to you go into focus in low light settings faster. Okay. The quality of your low light photos are supposed to be better because it focuses on actually what you're trying to get to focus on.
And this is on the Pro model. You know, to be clear, there's an iPhone 12. What are four total models, correct?
Yes.
The 12, the 12 Pro, and of course there's a different sizing, I suppose, on these, right? And colors, all kinds of colors.
Blue.
So there's a blue. Yeah, no, the Pacific blue got my attention for sure. So that's one of them. I priced it out, and I'm like, yeah, if I got one, it'd be a $1,400 phone. Let's be honest about it. So, the LiDAR is on the Pro. That's got all the big features. I guess more on the photography side, they were talking about you had these very kind of pro level DolbyVision editing is apparently a part of this, which they say you pretty much needed a workstation to do before this. What does that mean? I'm not for the layman out there that's maybe not as big into the photography side of things.
I have no clue how to describe.
You're like, it sounds cool. Why not, right?
It's like, ooh, this is the Dolby video editing and such. Is way out of my range.
Yeah. You got your 3 lenses doing all kinds of crazy stuff that I don't understand. I mean, and of course they're talking about, and they had this is video that we shot in 4K on these devices. wow. It is. Every time they do one of these and they show those kinds of things and talk about all the specs of those, I'm trying to figure out and justify in my head, instead of buying a prosumer camera to upgrade my situation as a business to 4K, why don't I just buy a few iPhones? With the stats, I know lens size and everything and chip size kind of makes a difference as well. But that's kind of more realistic AR. They're saying pro camera system optimized for low light. You were just talking about. Chilla, was there from this? You've of course probably read up a little bit of the articles on here. What's kind of sticking out for you spec wise on these phones?
So the one thing that I read about was there's some kind of cutout, which I didn't understand for the 5G which I still can't see it in a picture of what they're talking about. But the one thing that stuck out to me was the camera setup on the Pro Max, and it goes above and beyond because they can get the sensor is 47% larger. There's an 87% improvement in low light, which makes me question, do I want to hold out for the Pro Max? The other thing that surprised me is while the Pro will be available for pre-order on Friday, I think you have to wait till November for the Pro Max. So you're waiting like another month for the Pro Max, and then it's you're probably staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, like some of us are used to for that pre-order. But do I want that? Do I want the extra large sensor and the extra? Goes from 52 millimeter focal length on the telephoto on the Pro to 65 millimeter focal length on the Pro Max, and there's an additional. I'm not big on optical zoom, but you can go from 4x to 5x on the Pro Max. I'm very interested in the camera. What I'm not interested in is the size. I think that phone is going to be a little too big for my dainty hands.
It is getting big. What size is this?
6 point. So your phone. Remember, we put your phone on top of the Pro.
Yes.
And it's about the same real estate as the Pro. The difference is I get full screen glass and you have.
Yeah, the phone size, and I have more bevels, and the tops and bottoms are different on this, of course. And it's an 8 and I mean that was the highest end, like the same year that the iPhone 10s have come out. And I'm not feeling much crunch on this as far as the photography, video things that I do with it. Is pretty fantastic actually. So I'm not feeling the crunch for that. I mean, obviously there's a lot of like oohs and ahs as we're talking about the video photography side of things. Okay. So there's some updates from the chat room here. Partner is saying the sensor itself, if stabilized, is stabilized, not the lenses. Okay. The ceramic is into the glass. Amanda is looking for the Pro Max on 128 in December.
Podner's saying go big or go home. He's getting the Pro Max 256.
Yeah, I would be going the Pro Max 512 if I did this, because well, I explain to you, and Chilla, I want to ask you, like, what TikTok cycle are you on? How long do your phones last? Myself, as I explained to you guys, not to discount the new phones, but I'm in a MacBook Pro philosophy when it comes to my phones right now, where this is plenty, it's not feeling the crunch, and I'm going to run this thing into the ground and then buy the most phone I possibly can, likely right after the best new phone comes out. So it's like, where are you at with that? Because that's my question.
So I'm probably the oddball. I'm on the yearly cycle.
But you kind of need to for being Mr. Technology.
But not only that, but we do a hand-me-down. So
okay,
my phone goes to Carla.
Related.
So-
Related, I'm very excited that two iPhone 6s are going to come back to me very soon because the in-laws both got new SEs because their batteries were going. So I'm going to replace these 5Ss I've been looking at the YouTube chats on. So sorry, but sorry, you were saying.
So I'm on a yearly cycle, but that's because I hand my phone down
Yeah.
every year
Yeah.
for its what I would consider its second year of life.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always current. I'm not interested in waiting a month, and I'm not interested in. So I'm on a 250, but we're on 256 gig devices, and I have about 40 gig free. So unless I really, I don't know how I would come up with that much space to get down to the 128. So I need to stick with at least the 256, which I think I will.
Question. What are you filling your phone with? Because I got the big one because I wanted to have no limitations to recording and editing video. Not that I had to do it a terrible amount of time. Also, some of my events got cut short that maybe I would have used them a little bit more. But like, what are you filling it with? What are you doing with your phone that you just throwing apps on there or?
A lot of it now you have me wondering, like, where is all that space going?
Do you have that?
Well, mine. I have 256.
Yeah.
And I have 106 used. And honestly, this is horrible. I'm going to say this. Most of mine are messages.
Really?
Yeah, most of mine are messages. I had like 30,000 photos and videos and such on my phone, but most of this is messages. When you look at the little guy at the across the top.
Yeah.
So mine is 60 gig of photos and videos.
Is that backed up in the cloud?
Yes.
Okay.
And then now here's one thing that I do leverage a lot, because I still have a data plan, unlike some unlimited people, to keep my monthly cost of my plan down. I have 25 gig of movies loaded, so like when I go to the gym or when I'm out and about, I don't have unlimited data. So and then the rest is pretty much apps and games.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough, I notice I still have Fortnite on here, which can be deleted. That would get me about 15 gig back. But I would say the lion's share is photos and videos I've taken, followed up by media I've downloaded for offline viewing.
So for me, I actually have a pretty like it looks. I'm only using currently 109 out of 256, but I know this has ballooned up to 200 gigabytes in the past, and it seems to be stuff like, hey, my podcast app has 12 gigs because it's downloaded everything that's come out in forever, and I need to update that. But you don't feel the crunch when you have like a 10, 15 gigabyte Fortnite installation as well, or a lot of these Apple Arcade games are creeping around a 2, 3, 4 gigabyte mark a lot of times too. So that really does help. I feel the crunch on my Apple TV that has 64 gigs. I can tell you that since I started playing Apple TV on there. I usually have to swap them out. So, but still, it's kind of like I want the overhead, and as files get bigger, things like that, as I can barely use these 5Ss to even just watch the YouTube stream because they keep filling the 16 gigabytes just from existing apparently. It's interesting. So I love we're all talking about the pros. Nobody's even considering the 12s at this point, are we?
No, why would I do that? If you're gonna do it, go on.
Go big, go home. Come on.
We're
technology people. We want all the technology in our pocket.
The $799 price point, it's really $829, right? The $799 is only special deals with AT&T and Verizon.
You're used to that.
So you're $829. Your hop up, and you get an immediate space bump. Your hop up is $170. I mean, you're not talking. I mean, that you usually pay that almost that in just the next space bump.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's nothing that would make me personally jump down if it was my mom, dad, whomever.
Yeah.
They make phone calls and they scroll the Facebooks and the TikToks.
No, yeah, anybody like that, your mom or something. Like I think my mom just got. God, what did she get? She got like a XSXR or something like that when she just upgraded. She doesn't need anything more. Like that's fine. ASCs are fine. You don't need. Listen, my mom doesn't need. Your parents don't need. Your significant other probably doesn't need an entire editing studio in their pocket like we would love to have. And would actually get some use out of this. Like now we're at this power user level of phone and things like that. And Dave Podner, who is I consider a photography power user himself, he says his is almost 3 years old and still going strong. His wife's is 4 years old, still going strong. They may wait until 2021. This will be the first time I've waited more than two. I've held off more than 2 years for my iPhone. By the way. Normally I would be like you, Katie, where I'd be like, what is my next phone?
Well, it's been a while with this guy, and I think I am going to get the screen fixed, and I think I can get the glitch fixed with the screen, stop responding. So I think this is going to my mom, who has a 6S now.
Okay, yeah, no, if you have 6S's and 7s, those are probably going to feel a little long in the tooth around now, and I would consider upgrading just for usability as we get into the higher iOSs, correct? So, and just
my mom can't stand her camera. It's every time I take a picture, she's like, I wish my camera was that nice.
I'm pretty sure Missy's mother does the same thing to her as well. Because she has the same one you have, the 10, I believe. So she got the 10. I let her get the new fancy technology, and I stayed with the old reliable that year because I wasn't ready for that. I probably wouldn't feel as confident if I got the 10 that year at this point. But yeah, I like having a button. How about that, face mask people?
That's awful.
Turns out I made the right decision 2 years ago for today. But anyways, Amanda says her 8 Plus is all done. Battery and the camera FOMO. My battery hasn't been half bad. I haven't noticed. I felt like first OS 14 had a big drop, but other than that, well, we'll see. And these are coming out over the next couple of months, apparently, because of how things are going. You're not getting your cable or headphones anymore, though. Oh, you're not getting a cable or headphones. Power adapter headphones. Are these all USB-C now for that connector?
And MagSafe. We didn't talk about MagSafe. It's like Apple invented magnets again.
How do they work?
And then they actually explained to us how magnets work. I hope the Insane Clown Posse were watching. Anyways, so yeah, okay, that was a little exciting about, like, I was actually on the phone with Missy when we were talking about this part. I was like, listen, they got a thing. It's like your Apple Watch, and it goes on the back of your phone and it charges, and that's it. And it turns out...
I'll tell you what, though. We've actually swapped out 2 of our chargers, and they're the chargers on the bedstand because of misaligned nighttime charging. So we have one of the Logitech devices where the phone actually sits down in like a very square U-shaped thing for its wireless charging. And then that's Carla's, and then mine. The bottom of it is only the exact size of the phone. So if you don't put it on there right, it's going to topple to the left or right and fall off.
Okay.
But I wish there were magnets earlier and we actually swapped out those chargers specifically because if it didn't get lined up correctly, you were waking up with low battery percentage.
That's the worst. I've had those where I didn't plug the thing in correctly, like in a hotel room. And you have no place because you were on the go because for whatever you're doing that day, right? So, yeah. All right. Well, that's Apple. Oh, HomePod. Anybody interested in HomePod? I mean, the problem to begin with is it has the S word. But I don't know. It's $100 for the quote cheap one. The audio that follows you through your home when you've bought about 6 of these things is an interesting concept. But once again, it's not going to do as much as my A Train and my G Lady because it's Siri. So other than putting reminders on my phone easier, I don't see it.
I'm interested in the fit, finish, and polish of Intercom.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Are you ready for that, Chilla? You have a family of more than 2 people here. Do you see calling your son for dinner so it pops up on his watch and whatever he's in the room with?
We call each other on FaceTime when we're in different rooms. So we're just horrible people.
Mm-hmm.
But the Intercom, I'm interested because I don't find using kind of like the drop in and the send a message or broadcast super useful on A Train.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have enough G devices to really dig into it. So unless, I mean, I'll pay, what would I pay? I'll pay $20 a year for a good Intercom app on Alexa. Ooh, she's going to hear me. Sorry, guys.
Everybody hide from your home device.
But no, the Intercom feature, I could see myself using all of the time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for clarifying, partner, for my earlier question. Lightning to USB-C cable is included. So, and Chill is dealing with his son right now as if he called him. So maybe A Train did listen to him. So, all right. Anything else, Apple, or will you want to touch on something else here before we get out of here, guys? Actually, it's time to get out of here. So, anything else from today got your attention? No.
Oh, real quick.
Yes.
Because I saw this and I thought this was important because we're all getting inundated with crap emails now. That unsubscribe button on the bottom of your email might not be an unsubscribe button.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it's a lot of times scammers will use that to determine whether or not the email address is valid because you clicked on it, so now it says it's valid, and then they'll sell your email address to somebody else.
Yeah.
It also can install cookies, and all that good stuff. So it's tracking you to see what you're doing.
So now in Gmail, you can hit the drop down and it will unsubscribe for you. Is that related to that link, or are they doing something separate?
I'm not sure with Gmail because what ended up being the suggestion, and they didn't even mention that when I was reading up on it, was to just mark it as spam. So going forward, it'll kick that out. But yeah. So a lot, you get mad, especially when you get, a lot of times with the political emails, and people are sending you more political emails, and you're like, screw you, other candidate, I'm unsubscribing to your list. And meanwhile, you're like,
listen, I ended up on both of the major candidates' mailing lists somehow, and they are both bad. They are both very, very bad. It's like so and so has a personal message for you, bullshit, and it's like, come on, guys, no, we're not playing this game. Okay, all right. Well, we're gonna have to talk about a zipline into Godzilla's mouth and the adult theme park in Tokyo some other time.
Too much time for that. We have in-depth conversation.
Yes, absolutely. That needs a little bit more space to breathe. Actually, we have a very special guest coming on the show next week. Katie, do you want to talk about that real quick, about who's coming on and what they're going to be talking about? Because you're the one that pitched it to me.
I pitch things. Chris Momberger, I believe I just blanked out on his company's name. Momberger, his Etsy store. He designs pens. Yes. And when I talk about pens, he uses very specific, special kinds of wood, resin, like all this. And he's going to explain the process because I have no idea how you make a pen. But he essentially makes it down from like this big space shape to a smaller shape and suddenly even a magical pen. And if you are any of our friends, you've seen them on Facebook because all of our friends raves about his homemade pens. And he is nice enough to be creating a special pen to benefit me. And he's going to be talking about how the process and how you can buy a raffle ticket to win one of these very, very cool pens that I cannot wait to see how well this thing writes because I'm a big pen nerd.
And by the way, the name of the store is Momberger's Modern on Etsy.
That's it.
Mom Burgers Modern on Etsy. And there it is there. And actually, this has been shared recently over in the AwesomeCast Facebook group. You can find that as well. What did I see? Isn't there like did I not see like kind of Harry Potter wand?
Wands.
Kind
yeah,
of.
He does wands too.
Oh,
and,
yeah. Okay. So, no, some cool stuff there. He'll be on the show next week, and we'll be talking about that. So, thank you, Katie, for cooking that up. I honestly, I never caught on to this. I don't know how I've missed these posts, but
I just saw. I think Fuzzwad just got one.
Oh yeah, nice.
One of his pens, and he was raving about it.
That's fantastic. I need to get one for the missus because she's pretty big on pens. So awesome. Katie, you're doing a lot of great stuff, including you're continuing your radiation therapy fashion show / pro wrestler gimmick fest. It's been fantastic.
Oh, thank you. Yes, check it out on Kate Marie PGH on Instagram, K Dutters on Twitter, and yeah, you can see me wear my very fancy shirt that I have to wear for my radiation sessions with emulating one of our local wrestling friends terribly because I'm only using things that I have at my house.
And
I'm going to be getting a little artsy craftsy here soon.
And if you're not familiar with the local pro wrestling scene, she is putting up comparative pictures so you can see what we were going for. Because it definitely needs context sometimes. There you go. There you go. I really enjoyed the Hello Kitty. Like the Hello Kitty. What? It's not a hat. Oh, those are headphones. Being used to good effect at least a couple of times. Oh, that's right. That other one's not up yet. So have fun with that. I love the Reaper was. Oh no, I messed it up. The Reaper had cat ears in your impression.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of furs in here is being incorporated. So.
Yes.
Chilla is at Chilla on the Twitter, and you can. Yes.
Oh, I was going to say John Chichilla on the Facebook.
You can ask him your 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi questions as well. I'm going to mess up my home Wi-Fi so bad trying to get this thing to work, aren't I?
So I know at least on 2 of the previous routers I've had, see if there's like a config backup option.
Oh, yeah, we might. Well, it's going to be just reset the router if things go sideways. So it's one of those FiOS ones. So, but it's a newer one. It's different than what we have here in the office because you have the separate. But that's for something else, guys. Thank you so much. Check out everything. Another programming note. Over on Listen to Your Parents Facebook page, Matt Carlins is posting. I think that's going to post in a couple of minutes here if you're with us live at 8 p.m. tonight. Dad's playing Rocket League for the first time. He has a special video presentation that he's been putting together. I saw some early drafts of this. This is really cool. So if you are new to Rocket League, you're a dad or have a dad in your life, that might want to play Rocket League, go check it out. Otherwise, it should be immensely entertaining just to see Matt Carlin's take on the game Rocket League. I had a lot of fun playing with him a couple weeks ago as well. So go check that out. Listen to Your Parents on all the social medias, the podcast over at sorgatronmedia.com and everything else. Guys, thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun, and I apologize to the Android users for how Apple-y we got this week. We'll see you guys next time. You've been our awesome audience. Have an awesome week. This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.